We're trying to be productive in here, but it ain't going to happen.
What are we talking about?
What? Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 6 at Make It Happen TV with myself, Spencer Lodge.
And I'm Lewis Allsopp. Welcome to the show.
Okay, so we're going to talk to you today about some tips, tricks and ideas that you can do to be more productive in your business. A load of people in sales waste so much time. You agree?
Oh my God, yeah.
And it goes on and on and on and on and on. And people thinking, I spend a lot of time at work. I bet you've got people in your company that work long hours but don't necessarily produce an awful lot.
I call them screen watchers. That's what they are, screen watchers. I used to be it myself until you know what you're doing. And what you do that I was terrible at, I'd just click on an Excel spreadsheet or your CRM which one, and I'd just look at it for 10 minutes. And then you do the same thing, and an hour would go by. All you're doing is, instead of picking up the phone to speak to someone and going, hey, this is what's going on, they look at other people's notes, other people's feedback. So, yeah, screen watch is a big one for me.
Do you not notice that people with their phones tend to get locked into a long time of being on their phone, not actually doing anything directly relating to their business?
Yeah, a lot. That's social media, isn't it?
And how much time do people spend at the kind of coffee machine or in the kitchen or having a fag?
Well, have you seen the thing that I think it's Richard Branson that's initiated a thing where if you don't smoke, you get an extra 5 days holiday?
Now, that happened in Japan recently.
Really?
So in Japan, there was a company in Japan that said, right, for all the non-smokers, we're giving you 6 days extra holiday a year.
We've done it.
You've just done it?
We've done it, yeah.
So tell me what we've done. Well, this is really cool. Tell me what we've done. More productivity.
So anyone that doesn't smoke gets 3 days, not 6 days.
Oh, man, what a shit company. Move to Tokyo, Allsopp and Allsopp people. There's a company there.
You get 3 days in Tokyo too. But we did it just because I watch it myself. You come in the office and people go downstairs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minimum times a day, spend time in the basement, they knit and natter in the basement, come back upstairs, 15, 20 minutes for each fag they're going for, minimum. So work that out over the year. I'm actually undercutting people by giving them 3 days. But it's a terrible habit.
How did they receive it?
Email.
No, not I know. You sent them an email. But how did the people that didn't smoke receive getting 3 days extra holiday?
The worst, but they were fine with this. The people that smoked, they didn't like it.
Okay.
So
what's the solution?
Don't smoke.
Okay.
Save your life and you had some more time for you.
And how do they react to you being told not to smoke?
Not too well, mate. People love to smoke. I don't know why. It doesn't taste like a cheeseburger or like a bit of mojito. What I don't get it personally. I'm not got an addictive personality, so I don't understand what the thing is with smoking.
So being more productive. Okay, so we've got 10 tips to give. Tip number 1, don't smoke.
Don't smoke, definitely.
Okay, there you go. Well, that's it. We're done then.
We're done.
Oh, no, we've got 9 more to do.
So we want from me, or do you want to give one? Is that your one?
Well, I kind of started it.
Okay, well, I'll go on to the next one then. No, I said screen watchers.
You did say, well, yeah,
so
but I said to you, people in the office that sit down and don't do much during the day, you just put a name to the thing I was describing.
Okay, the next thing, negativity. The amount of people in our office and other offices, wherever I've worked, the amount of time they spend moaning, and I've just come from one of our Jumeirah Golf States office, and when we send an email about a new initiative we're doing, there's a person in that moans about every email that goes out, and it only comes to my attention. I was sitting working out, we've sent 5 emails the last 5 days. How much time goes into the talking about what's gossiping around the business than actually spending time speaking to clients? So, negativity, moaning, gossiping, people create little groups sometimes. I've seen it where they go and they have a little moan together, put the worlds to right, then come back upstairs and go, oh my God, the market's rubbish. Where nothing's happening, but they'll make no calls or that nothing will be going on because they've spent all their time smoking or moaning.
Well, complaining's a big thing, because I find that a lot of people complain all the time. You've got people out there that are complaining. Some of you will know who you are, okay? If you go and have a look in the mirror, you might realize who you are. But complaining is a really negative thing to do. Yeah. But not only just for you, against people your productivity, it poisons other people. And it's like, while you're complaining, what are you doing? Nothing. So why not just shut up and pick the phone up, or shut up and get stuck into some work, or shut up and go and speak to some clients, or be productive by absolutely saying, I'm going to be positive rather than negative, or even ambivalent. That ambivalence is
What does
a
ambivalent
negative.
mean?
Kind of like nonplussed.
Come on, man. I told you I got a D in English. I don't know what that means.
You didn't even get a D.
No, I don't think I passed it there, I'll be honest.
It's like positive is high, negative is low,
Okay.
ambivalent is sat in the middle there, just like nonplussed about it, yeah?
So like medium.
How did this guy build this company? How did this happen?
Like a medium rare. Is that what?
It's not a bit rare. It's like, oh God. Okay, so I'm gonna really dumb it down from now. Okay, so you've got those people that complain.
Yes.
The ones that don't complain.
Yeah.
And the ones that don't complain, but you can see in their face.
Yes.
That they're just meh.
But they'll do it when they leave the office or leave public environment.
Yeah, absolutely.
So perfect example of that. Going back to success, and so two things that, from my opinion, is first of all, people that are successful don't complain. Okay, but there's a formula for them people we talked about before. They're working hard and they're making money. But the people that complain, I wouldn't mind if someone complained. Honestly, I wouldn't mind if they were the hardest worker, or they were there the latest, or they wasn't going for 10 fags a day, 20 fags a day. But there was a conversation, like I said, I spent the day yesterday in Jumeirah Golf Estates, and this lady had left us. I don't think she likes me anyway, because on the first day I sent her home because she had pink hair. And I didn't think that's very, like, bright pink. So we didn't employ you like that. I don't think it's very professional. So I don't think we start on a good foot anyway.
So you discriminate against the colour of people's hair?
Well, it was not. Listen, if you come in a disco wig to my office, if you did that with silver, you'd have to go, mate. Go home, wash your hair, come back.
So what about accepting all colours of hair?
No, this is not. I'm not getting into this debate with you. It wasn't professional. Anyway, so this person coincidentally left the company 6 months later. It didn't work for her. It'd be him if it was weird, wouldn't it? If it was a pink hair and it's him. Anyway, it didn't work. So this person complained, saying that he got this.
So Alan came in.
Alan with pink hair, big Alan. Anyway, let me finish this up.
Stop messing around with that microphone.
She wasn't the hardest working, wasn't very good at the job, which I can deal if you're not good at the job. If you don't work hard, one of this is actually a cigarette smoker as well, that moans. So everything we're talking about into that category, I wouldn't mind all of that if this person that left the business was hard working, was dedicated. So there is a formula behind the success, and the productivity we're talking about, the top 10 tips. She matches all of that criteria, from the smoking to the negativity to the moaning, all of this, and most importantly, wasn't hard working. So there is a formula behind success, and that's what I'm talking about in my hand is not what you need to be. So she was one of them, unfortunately.
Okay, so just for those of you out there that have pink hair that do work hard, there might be opportunities for you at Allsopp and other companies too.
We take pink hair.
As long as your name's not Alan.
Big Alan.
Big Alan. Okay, let's talk about goals then.
Yes.
Because a lot of the time I find that people can be more productive if they know what they've got to do.
Yep.
We spoke earlier on before we were on set about how if we don't have a scheduled diary of all our things to do, it can be very easy to get distracted.
Yeah.
So I really believe that if someone is clear on what their goals are, and those goals are broken down into daily activities, from those daily activities, they know what they've got to do and they can go and execute on those quite easily.
Agreed.
You'll all know this. When you're really busy, okay, the day flies by, doesn't it?
Agreed.
Okay, when you're getting everything you need to get done because you know what you've got to do, okay, the day flies by and you end up getting far more luck because of that effort, and then you get the results that come with that luck. How often is goal planning talked about with your staff, and then how do you monitor, or how do you enforce or guide your staff into being smart with their goal setting?
So first of all, goal planning. I don't think anyone should think they're too big to do it. We talked about it offset before, and what I said about myself is I can go through days where I don't know what I've done, and I can leave the office and George, my wife, be like, "Do you have a good day?" I'm like, "Yeah." But I don't know what I've done. And I feel guilty when I've had them days.
That's nothing to do with anybody else's mind. That's just you.
Yeah, it is. It's just my mindset. So the goal setting, I think no one's too big to set their goals up. So I know I've had a good day when I've set up, and I've got this weird, it's not even weird, it's old school what I do. I'll literally, first thing in the morning, I'll get my diary out and I'll write next to what I need to do. And I don't leave until there's a tick next to the diary. It's such an old school thing to do, but if I'll work all night after until that tick's done. So I try and instill this into the people we work with, but some people, and they'll always find it, think that we're wrong. Why would we, how we teach people to do things is they know their way better. And I don't mind people can have their own formula, but if there's no goals in place, so there's things we do. So in our office, we have follow-up mornings. So every morning between 9 and 11 o'clock, the first thing you should be doing is writing down your diary, what you got to do. So in estate agency terms, you should be calling all your clients you viewed yesterday, making sure your new properties are online, making sure that you've called your sellers to give the feedback. Once you've done that, then you can go into the rest of your day. So we get people to go in a certain fund, but how they have to do this, they have to have their minuscule goals every single day. And them goals will help them achieve their long-term target. Because if you're speaking to your sellers every day, they should be happy with you. You should be getting price reductions or giving feedback correctly. You're speaking to new properties, they're going to get sold. So the big thing for me in success in life is continuity. Whether it's going to the gym, fitness, money, whatever it is, if you continue to do the same thing, you will get better. It's muscle memory, isn't it? So that's what we try and instill to people, just to make sure they set the day up correctly and then they go and do what they need to do afterwards.
Okay, let me take that a step further.
Yes.
You take goal planning, and that's clear. Then you're writing a list, and you stay till you've got your list done.
Yeah.
A lot of people, when they put a list together, whether that's written or typed, generally get stuck very quickly with that list, because invariably all of the things on the list aren't great things to do. Some of them are, and some of them are not.
Okay.
So what I always do when I create that type of list is I turn the list, because what we do typically is we'll write the list and we'll write the things that we want to do first out of the things we need to do.
Okay.
And the things that we don't want to do, we'll write them last. So every time that's done, I say turn the list upside down and start from the top down, essentially, as it's upside down, meaning you start with the worst things to do first.
Just like Eat That Frog in the book.
You get that out of the way. Yeah.
The book, the way you do the worst things.
Yeah, that's right. Do the worst things first. And if I get those things, those 4 or 5 things that I really don't want to do, done quickly, what I invariably do when I've got more energy at the beginning of the day, I attack them with gusto, and they take way less time than I thought they were going to take.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the stuff I've got to do that day, I can look forward to. Because whatever job you've got, no matter who you work for, no matter whether you're self-employed, whatever business you're in, there's going to be some parts of what you do you love and some parts of what you do that you don't necessarily like to do.
Yes.
So get those things out of the way first, and then I think that you then become even more productive as the day goes by, and you finish it on a high rather than on a frustrating point. Because when you say, I will not finish work until all those things are ticked off, most people don't operate like that.
I agree.
They should, but most people will get to the last couple of things and go, meh.
What, they turn into sheep? Is that what happened?
Well, I couldn't use the word ambivalent because you know what it means.
No, I get it, but I think that goes back to the success formula. You have to have that structure, and if you can't stick to the structure and then execute the structure, then you're not going to be the success that you want to be. It's not sexy. It's not ideal. No one wants to stay till 7, 8 o'clock. No one wants to get their laptop out with it at home when EastEnders is on. Phil Mitchell's on one of his binges. But that's the way it is.
Do you have EastEnders at your house?
Yeah, I've got ITV on there, yeah.
Do you watch EastEnders? Oh,
I'm on and off. It's like...
You watch EastEnders because you've got that illegal television thing.
No, actually, you're wrong. See, so I have the apps on your TV, and it's an IPTV. Way past you talking about tech. Don't worry. But
is it technology?
It's technology, yeah.
And you just remind me again, you write a list down on a notepad every day.
It. Yeah. Not on my iPhone.
But with your iPen.
Yeah. Siri, actually.
Siri, okay. So, okay, what else? What other things do people need to do to be more productive? Give us something else.
The simple one, honestly, is just making sure you know what your end goal is. That's such a big one. We talked about it before, and turn your list upside down. But if you know you need to make £1,000, you talked about this before, how do you make £1,000 a day? We talked about in real estate how many viewings you need to do to make the sale and how many calls you need to make. So breaking all of this down and giving yourself your mini goals will get you to your end financial or whatever target it may be. So making sure you know what your end goal is and how you reverse that backwards is a very successful formula I've used.
Okay, let's talk about distractions, because some people work in open plan offices.
Yeah,
they're trying to do their job, and there's people coming to their desk and asking them questions or asking them to do this and that. How do you manage that?
You can't. It's the type of person you are. So in our office, it's the most distractive office you can imagine. So we've got, I think it's 13,000 square foot in Business Bay. There's a big office. There's like 180 desks in there. all expatriates from all around the world. House music is on, coffee boys delivering teas, people are chatting and talking away their day. So it's a very busy environment. So you need to stay self-focused.
I'm getting stressed just thinking about it.
It's a fun office. It's very
it's fun as
we
well.
have karaoke in there and everything.
House music's a bit too modern.
No, but it's like sexy house. We have like a vocalist in there.
Can't you have like Motown?
No, people be asleep, mate.
No Motown?
No.
What about Madness?
What's Madness? Sing me one. Sing us one.
Our house.
Oh, God. In the middle of our street. No.
There you go. You know it.
Yeah, I know it, but we can't be playing that, mate.
No?
No. These people are like 25, 30. They're not like your generation.
So you can't have Motown and you can't have... What about the Rolling Stones?
No, it's more like... You know when you go to Nikki Beach or you go to a beach club, it's like cool. Like, oh, this is nice. What's going on here? This has got me going. That's what we're going for. Like, is there mojitos here? I don't know. There's no mojitos. We had to work. But that's where we go with it.
Do you have mojitos in your office?
Non-alcoholic.
Oh.
No, we don't. For recruitment purposes, we don't have mojitos in the office. We have coffee, tea, hot chocolate. But it's free.
What's free?
The coffee.
But I want a mojito.
Well, you go 360 and it closes on Thursday. Last day was Thursday.
Okay, so... You say people are distracted. You think it's within the person to be able to control that?
Should be. I think you have to have self-control. It's like going to a buffet, isn't it? All right, don't point at me. Yes, I want everything. I want some Chinese and curry mixed in with some chicken. But you can't have it all, unfortunately. So you need to be able to control it. You know, it's not right having a bit of pizza on top of a chicken curry. I don't think it's the right thing to do. So having that self-control is a big factor. You've had that before, haven't you?
Yeah, no, I like dipping my pizza in my curry sauce. But do you find that you have staff that sometimes come to you and say, is there somewhere quiet I can get my work done?
They do that off their own back. So we've got 8 meeting rooms where people will go in there and they'll go and do their phone calls, especially if they're private phone calls, negotiating offers, and so they don't want to be in a loud environment. So there is options to do it, but I'm a big fan of getting the vibe right. You've got to make sure that you've got the right energy in the office, because I've worked in offices before.
So basically we've summarised it in
Facebook.
Don't be negative. Don't be a screen watcher.
Yeah.
Okay. Stop smoking.
Yeah.
Write everything down on a notepad with a tick next to it.
Yeah.
Okay. If it's in a busy environment, go somewhere quiet to make your phone calls.
Self-control.
Okay. Listen to house music.
Yeah.
There's no mojitos in your office.
No.
Okay.
Curry with pizza on top at a brunch. I've never done that, by the way. But it sounds good, doesn't it?
No.
Yeah, it does.
No, you won't be productive if you eat that. Yeah, exactly. Who does that? Who does that? He's the king of food. Emma likes some food. All right, so I think that a lot of people sit down and waste time.
Agreed.
Because they think about more productive ways to do the things they do. So let's take into consideration, for example, let's take my seminars.
Yes.
I use Facebook ads.
Yes.
That gets hundreds of people to come to my seminars. I don't have to make a single call.
Yeah.
I don't have to email and follow up with emails. I do nothing.
Yeah.
Literally do a Facebook ad. The Facebook ad goes to a landing page. Landing page then goes to an email sequence, to a text message, and then guess what? People turn up.
Yep.
That's a really productive way to get people to attend an event. However, there's lots of people that would take a list and then email out a list and then follow it up and phone people up and invite them to something. And that to me is an unproductive way to do something. Do you think that a lot of companies think about productivity in that way? Or do you think often people go, this is what we've done. This is what we've always done. We know that this works. And so guess what? We're not going to change it, even if it could be more productive.
I think it depends on the team behind you. You've got an amazing team behind what you do. A lot of the companies today won't invest in the team, whether it costs $10,000, $5,000 a seminar to get the people there. I don't think people are willing to invest. So what you're doing is very technologically advanced compared to, if you asked Allsopp and Allsopp today what we would do, probably we would call our top 50 investors and go, hey, do you want to come down? It's not going to capture new clients, but it will capture the current ones. So,
but would it not take $10,000 worth of your time to do that?
I agree. Your way is the right way to do it, but it's having the team and set up how we don't have a PR team on social media level to instigate that today. We might do tomorrow after speaking to you when we talked about off the air. But I'll tell you what's a really big one. It's the last one I want to finish on, is going back to social media. Watching your competition is probably the craziest thing, and it's a poisonous environment to do it. People in my office do it, and I tell them not to do it, because on social media you can put out there to annoy everyone. It's like poison. You can just drop a little bit into the water, and you know everyone's watching it. So whether or not you want to put out there that your best day is in the best month or whatever it may be. So there's a quote talking about horses, and it was saying that the reason they've got the blinkers is very simple. They run faster straight with the blinkers on because they're not looking left and right. And it's so true in business terms. If you're watching what everyone else is doing, you're not accelerating your own business. And I think a lot of people do that, and they worry about what everyone else is doing. And my brother says it right. He says, no one else can dictate the result. So you can watch other people, but they can't dictate the result. So only you can do that.
But if you look at all the best salespeople out there, they don't pay any attention.
They've got
their own thing to focus on. And if you were to ask them about the competition, invariably they'd know the names of the companies, but they wouldn't know much else.
But I'm guilty of it. You know, I sometimes I go through the stages where I'll watch what other people are doing, and then I'm like, why do I care? So I think it's an inquisitive thing to do, go and look at what other people are doing, but it's a poisonous thing to do. You've got to concentrate on your business. And if you're a broker, an agent, an individual, stop worrying about other people. Worry about what you're doing. If you've made your calls, your viewings, everyone will be talking about you instead of you watching what they're doing.
Okay, there's some business owners out there that are a little bit like a 1,500-meter runner.
Yes.
They come into the last 200 meters and they love sitting on the shoulder of the person in front because they can see who's in front of them.
Yeah.
And they can accelerate past them.
Yeah.
There's some people that run the 1,500 meters that like to lead from the front.
You're talking about me?
Okay. Well, other people, and I'm not necessarily suggesting you about how because you weren't the biggest for a long time, okay? You were a small company.
Yes.
And sometimes the smaller companies look at the next step.
Yes.
Okay, how they can get to that place.
Yeah.
And so they'll look at their competition to say, right, we want to get there. So they're doing it, let's model what they do.
Yeah.
Okay, or let's chase them.
Yeah.
So sometimes I think that looking at the competition to give you inspiration to get you where you want to go isn't necessarily a bad thing. But once you get, and again, you have to think about it from a point of view of how you run your race.
Yeah.
You know, if you come out the blocks and you're just going to lead from the front, and then you don't even have the energy to look behind you.
I get it. My biggest problem, this is the biggest problem, is that there's companies that copy exactly what we do. And I said it before, they're imitators. You know who you are. If you're watching, I know you'll be watching. And these guys, they watch what we do. There must be 5, 6 companies, German brands, English people owned by with German names, English people with French names. They know who the companies are. And these companies copy exactly what we do, but 6 months later, that's not a successful formula because that's not innovating. By the time they're doing what I'm doing last year, because I would have started last year, I'm 2 years ahead of them. So that's not a successful. When we set the business up, I would never follow anyone. And that's what a lot of people are doing at the moment. They're watching the competition. People are watching me open office at the moment.
Okay, but you don't own creativity.
No, I don't.
There are other people out there that might have a better idea that you might look at and go, do you know what? That's a really good idea. I'm going to employ that.
Taking ideas is a great idea, but taking an idea...
Taking ideas is a great idea.
But taking ideas and then implementing it once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times and trying to mimic a business is never going to make you the market leader. And if I was an employee, honestly, I'd be like, why am I working for someone that is copying this business? I should be working with an innovator, not with someone that's imitating, because you will never be able to accelerate as a business or an individual at that level because you're 2 years behind what we're doing. So, you know, I don't believe in watching what people are doing and then trying to copy what they're doing.
When I was a salesperson, okay, having somebody in front of me that was selling more than me while I was learning was the biggest motivator in the world.
Yeah.
Being an underdog.
I love being an underdog.
Was fabulous. And and there's people I know that when they were in front, they were hopeless.
Yeah.
Because they got in the lead.
You get lazy.
Okay. They got lazy, they made mistakes, okay, and they didn't realise. And you know, one year when I was selling, there was a guy that was always in front of me this whole year. And I knew, okay, at the end of November, he was stopping working for the rest of the year. And I was supposed to stop at the beginning of December, the first week of December. So I had an extra week over him. And I knew he'd written more business than me. And I'm like, I can't make that difference up in a week. So I cancelled my flight back and I worked all the way up until the 20th of December.
You won, didn't you?
Yeah, I won. Yeah, absolutely. But it was that desire in me to want to catch that person and overtake that person.
I get the motivation.
That gave that drive. And I guess what? Made me more productive. A couple of other things. Okay, one other thing I'll give you before this episode ends. When I had my first baby, my child at 6 p.m. every night when she was a baby turned into a monster. She literally was a monster. And the only person that could look after her in that moment was me.
Yeah.
My wife was going mad. She was pulling her hair out. She's like, you be home from work at 6 o'clock, all right? Because Taylor's going to go mad. And it was true. So I said to the team, look, I won't be able to see people in the evening, okay, for the next 3 months whilst we've got this young baby. And we were like, everyone was like, yeah, but Spen, what about all the clients we see at night and the business that we do at 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock with people? And I'm like, well, it's going to have to happen before 6. So everyone panicked. All of those clients, those prospects then were called up and they were told, okay, Spencer's just had a baby. He can't see you at 6 or 8 o'clock anymore, okay, because he's got the baby, and hopefully you respect that. Every one of them respected it. Every one of them rescheduled, and every one of them would see me, okay, between 8 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. I did more business because then I didn't have a longer period of time in the day to do it. I became more productive because we had to condense it because I had to be home for the baby. And we wrote more business, and I was sat on my sofa at 6 o'clock every night, which I hadn't done for like all of my career.
Yeah.
There are ways that you can be more productive when you put under certain pressures, and for some people being in second place is a killer, and some people being in second place is a real motivator to go and accelerate and take people on.
Yeah.
Apple and Samsung have had that battle going on for years. Okay, the rest of them are also Rands, aren't they?
Yeah.
But those two are at each other's toes all the time, and they're pushing each other to be better.
Yeah.
So whilst I understand you're ahead with your technology, and people aren't going to catch you if they're trying to catch you all the time.
Yeah.
I think that there's an enormous empowerment in productivity for people that think that's what I'm going to aim for.
I like that. No one's born at the top. You have to fight the way to the top, but we've set our business up on how we think it should be run, and it's our ideas. And yes, you do take ideas from people, but you mold them into your own. Mm-hmm. A perfect example, I was talking about mortgage software before. We launched mortgage software, and within 30 days, another company launched the worst mortgage software I've ever seen. And they launched it, said, this is what we're doing. And there's just no point in doing it, just because it's like keeping up with the Joneses, but you don't need to do it. So to do what they're good at. So that's my theory. Do what you're good at.
I agree. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed the show. This one ran on a bit, but it's been fun. Okay, it's interesting getting into these debates, isn't it? Talking about stuff. Hopefully, Lewis won't be telling us about any of his pets or his cats, okay, at the end of this show. But I hope you enjoyed it. Again, if there's something that's valuable to you that you've taken from this, share that with us. If you've got a question you'd like to know more about, ask us that question in the comments box before. Like and share what we do. It's really valuable. And to us, subscribe onto the YouTube channel and make sure that you get this every single week. By now, the podcast is being put together, and so the podcast will be on iTunes very soon indeed. And we're very excited for you to be able to have this information and be able to pick the brains of people like Lewis and I. So if you've enjoyed it, let us know. If you didn't, let us know. I don't care. Okay, it'd be nice to know your feedback anyway. Whatever you do, make sure that you do what he has done for many, many years now, and hopefully what you see that I do, which is to get out and make it happen.